Hey kids, it's a Missenden Fly here, hope you're well. Welcome along to the latest live chat, live stream thing. Always a bit strange when you do these, because you never quite know how they're going to work out, whether the technology is going to behave, whether you're going to get anybody watching, whether you're going to get any questions, whether you can hear me, whether you can see me, what's going on. So I guess just to start off with, while we're waiting for some people to gather, can you let me know, I can see we've already got a couple of people on, whether you can actually see and hear me okay. That would be great just to know that. All indications I'm getting here are that you can see and hear me okay, but it would be good if somebody can actually let me know. So let me just see who we've got on here. Hello Adrian, hello Thomas, hi Stanley, Tim's there. Hello from Texas, Pistol Pete. Hi Pistol, great to see you again. Hi and good evening, Jason, Billy Clinton. Crikey. Okay, looks like we're good. Paul Ross says yes, fine. Thank you, Paul. Excellent. All right, so it looks like we've got gathering throng, which is absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much for joining me. So, usual sort of stuff. I've got a bunch of questions from last time that I want to just pick up as well, just to cover off. But I want to obviously take your questions as well if I can, because I do get accused sometimes of not answering enough questions. So definitely going to do that. At the end of the video, going to do some of the old Parish notices, just let you know what's coming up on the channel, and a few bits and bobs, little things that I want to let you know. I think that's pretty much it. So we'll see how it goes. I'm thinking it's 8 o'clock now, UK time. We'll give it half an hour, and if you want to stay on longer, that's absolutely fine. All right, brilliant. And the other thing I'd love to do on these as well, and I know we're going to talk about motorbikes in a minute, but it would be great as well if you can let me know whereabouts you're watching from, just because it amuses me, the fact that I can be here in leafy Buckinghamshire in the UK, and there are people potentially all around the world that are watching me. Absolutely incredible. I mean, already I can see we've got 143 people watching from around the globe. Unbelievable. Oh, and while we're talking global news, just a little thing that amused me. About 35 minutes ago, heard a thunderous noise and just had Donald Trump fly over. Marine 1 and 2 just passed over together with an Osprey. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, Thomas Weston, thank you very much for that super chat donation. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. So that's exciting, isn't it? So the Donald is in town. He's doing all sorts of things around London and the nearby. He's been kept away from protesters and stuff, which there are apparently many. And by going by helicopter means he doesn't have to see the oiks on the ground. Anyway, yeah, he literally just flew over the house. Fascinating. Anyway, tomorrow he's at Chequers, which is about 4 miles from where I'm sitting. So I intend to I'll go up there tomorrow morning, have a look, just because it amuses me, the amount of security and how these things are laid on. So anyway, that was a bit of completely unrelated news, but it amused me. I thought it was quite exciting that Donald Trump just flew over, but there we go. All right, but it's more exciting than Melania's with him, but there we go. And I'm hoping to catch a glimpse of her sunbathing at Chequers tomorrow, but that may not happen. Anyway, or is that just me? All right, so there's some questions then. We had some questions last time that I never managed to get to. In particular, there was a question from somebody that actually put in a super chat, and I never answered the question, so I do apologise for that. And that was from somebody called Maxed, Maxxed, and I think he was from Switzerland, because he paid me, I think it was 5 Swiss francs. So anyway, the question he asked, which I never got to, so sorry Maxed, hopefully you're going to see it this time. He asked, any 50cc scooters and or geared bikes you can recommend for beginners? And that's a bit ironic, really, because although I missed your question last time, the answer is the same. I can't really recommend any, because here in the UK, I don't think we actually have 50cc anything anymore. We used to, but not anymore. So, I mean, to be fair, I would say 50cc is probably underpowered to be on modern day roads. 125cc is pretty much the smallest, or 125 smallest we get here, and they struggle on major roads, so I would be sort of anti 50cc really. I may be wrong, there may be some Chinese 50cc scooters or something you can get, but I don't know of any, I'm afraid, Max, so therefore I can't recommend any. So there we go, sorry about that. Alright, so that was the first one I want to get out of the way. I've got a few more here. Let me just see what's coming in on the chat. Watching from Chichester, excellent. Terry Shields, British expat watching from Virginia, USA. Oh, perhaps you see Donald Trump fly over occasionally. What have we got? Fast Frankie, 4 miles. That's narrowed it down then. Well, I can narrow it down even more. It's I call myself the Missenden Flyer. I'm clearly in Great Missenden. So there you go. You can check that out on the map. Morgan, Porth, Cornwall. Excellent. Good blog on MCN yesterday. Oh, thank you, Ian. Glad somebody read that. Brilliant. David from Abu Dhabi, GSA owner in the UK. So are you in Abu Dhabi or the UK? Or do you mean you've got a GSA here and you're in Abu Dhabi? Anyway, Abu Dhabi. Nice. Hi TMF from Sheffield, loud and proud. Alan, thank you very much. Hi TMF, ever been to Riyadh? My goodness me, have I been to Riyadh? Yes, I have, and I shall be going on Saturday until Monday. I've been going to Riyadh every year. I even went to the one where it didn't happen when it rained. Every year for about the last 25 years, I imagine. I'm a massive Riet fan. It's a shadow of its former self, but yes, I'll be going there. For anyone who doesn't know, that's the Royal International Air Tattoo, big air show held over here at Fairford near Gloucestershire, or in Gloucestershire. Solihull, oh, hello, GS 1200 Cork, €10. Thank you very much for that. That's very kind of you, and nice to have you along. Thanks for watching the live stream. It's great that I love the fact that on the live streams now you get to see on the recorded version all the comments, which is absolutely brilliant. But also, it's just great to have live interaction. I love that. Right, who else have we got then? Big Mac, I'm from Butte. Excellent. Hopefully you saw or have been watching my Western Isles stuff. Stuart, how do I donate to the TMF cause? Well, great question, Stuart. Sadly, I've never seen me live. I don't know how you do it, but apparently people do. I think it's called Top Chat. All I have here is a little list of the comments that are coming up, and every now and then it gives me a little figure and it says somebody's giving me some Top Chat. So presumably there's a button somewhere on the screen that you're watching on. Maybe it only works if you're on a PC. I don't know if it works on mobile or TV or whatever, where it probably says something like donate. Maybe somebody can answer that who's watching and can let me know, because I'll be curious to know myself. What else have we got here? Who else? We've got Poland. Michael, thank you. Excellent. Bladders, he's loving the Scotland trip. Excellent. You're in Hastings. Good. One more of those to come tomorrow, in fact. Any plans to ride an Indian anytime soon? Ollie says, I would love to ride an Indian. I've never even ridden a Harley, as you may know. And I'm recently a sort of converted cruiser guy. I never class myself as a cruiser guy. I don't know why, because I love all bikes, and I do appreciate the engineering in things like Harley Davidsons. They look and sound fantastic, but a bit like, I guess, many other motorcyclists, when you sort of come into the fold, you sort of, unless you go into it specifically because you want to be into the Harley game, you kind of get not sullied, that's the wrong word, but you get tainted, don't you, by that sort of anti-Harley thing. And I think I've been guilty of that a little bit myself in previous years, although I'm trying to be more open-minded now. And in the last few years, I've grown to appreciate what they look like more. So I definitely need to ride some of these bikes. And an Indian as well is like a Harley with knobs on, isn't it? Okay, it doesn't perhaps have all the surrounding stuff that Harleys have, but I do love the looks of Indian bikes, and I'd love to have a go on one. So I just need to find a dealer. I don't know where my local Indian dealer is actually, but I would love to have a go on one of those. And what's changed me about this recently is I rode the Triumph Speedmaster. Don't know if you saw that review. It was a few weeks ago now, a couple of months ago. Really enjoyed that. Just the lazy way you can lollop along the country lanes in the summer with that big old thumping twin engine. Or twin cylinder engine, I should say, is absolutely brilliant, and I thoroughly get why people love Harleys and Indians, all the rest of it now. So yeah, I need to ride more of them. Do stay tuned to the channel for more of that soon. Long answer there to what seemed to be a simple question. Okay, let's see what other questions were coming up. Moggy, watching from Essex, just picked up an 82 VF 750 classic V4. Lovely. Was that a VFR? Did you mean? Excellent. Rutger. Oh, it disappeared off the top of the screen before I saw you. Oh, Ian, £20. Thank you very much indeed. Used for fuel, I certainly will, Ian. There'll be a new tour coming in your name soon. Thank you. Always a regular donator, Ian. I'm always very grateful. Thank you, sir. What else have we got? Any plans to make a video on the Multistrada 1260S from Aaron? Yeah, would love to. I think I mentioned before somewhere, I don't know if you saw it, but I am in touch with Ducati UK, who are up to lending me bikes, and I'd like to ride these bikes longer term to get a proper feel for them, understand a bit what they're about. And the 1260 is certainly on the radar, along with a number of other Ducatis actually. I'd love to ride the X Diavel, that's one I've not ridden, which I'd love to do. And of course the V4 Panigale is definitely one I need to ride. I was kind of waiting for all the, not fuss, but everybody was raving and riding the V4, weren't they? I was trying to let that all pass a bit and then kind of do my own thing. So yeah, number of Ducatis I want to get to, and that certainly includes the big Multistrada. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Ducati XDL, yes, Mark, I think I just mentioned that. Did you find the Speed RS Vibey from James Botterill? No, I didn't actually. No, he's referring to, again, it depends how much you watch my channel, but if you're watching this live, I assume you probably, you maybe are a bit of a fan. I hope so anyway. Thanks for watching. You probably saw my review of the Speed Triple that I recently did, and I hadn't ridden a Speed Triple for ages because I'm a Street Triple man. And when I bought my Street Triple, oh, thank you very much. Oh, Ken, nice to see you, and thanks very much for the donation. Scottish Poons, excellent. Yeah, I definitely owe you a few, Ken, when I see you. Maybe we'll see you in Gran Canaria later in the year. Sorry, where was I? I will get to all these top chats and super chats, by the way, but I better answer the question I was on, which I can't even remember what the heck it was now. What was I talking about? Oh, goodness me, it's gone out of my mind. I can't remember what the heck it was. It's my age, you see. Right, what else have we got? Just picked up a Tracer, Matt has. Congratulations. Changed your MT10 for one. Interesting. The Tracer, amazing bike. I've got a Tracer 900 GT review coming up very soon. Oh, thank you, Martin. €5. Love your reviews. Oh, and greetings from the Netherlands. Greetings to you too, sir. And yeah, the Tracer, lovely bike. Quite different to the MT10, of course. So yeah, you of course know that, having had the MT10. I love the MT10 and I love the Tracer, but quite different animals. MT10, hooligan naked, absolutely hooning about the lanes on a summer's evening. Lovely jubbly. Tracer, practical bike, good for everyday use, great for touring, that sort of thing. So yeah, quite a different use case, but both really nice bikes. So you won't be unhappy with those. Right, what else have we got coming on the news wise before I get to some of these other questions that I've got already prepared? Would you consider reviewing second-hand bikes? From CJ Cyro 99. Funny you should say that, because I had that same question from somebody called Corbin Danny Litcher. I'm probably mispronouncing your name there, Corbin, but he said the same thing. Ben Jones also last time said, ever thought of doing a few bike reviews from viewers, and also Rutger, who we saw earlier. Are you going to review older bikes too? And this is something that comes up from time to time, and yes is the answer. I would really love to review some older bikes, and in particular I'd love to review some viewers' bikes, and I can't remember if I mentioned this on the last live stream or maybe it was on my bike news video, I'm not sure, but in my mind I've had this thing for ages called Readers Rides, which just amuses me, that concept. But the idea is I'd come to your garage, we look and chat about your bike, what mods you've done to it, etc., what you've found are the good and bad points about the bike, and then if you'll let me, maybe if I can prove that I'm insured, perhaps I can have a brief ride of it as well and let people know what I think of it, and hopefully I'll think it's all right, because it'd be a bit embarrassing if it's not, wouldn't it? So that's something I've kind of got up my sleeve. Like all these things, it's just finding the time to do it, and of course logistically it might be tricky, because obviously we've both got to be available, the bike's got to be serviceable, we've got to have enough light and all the rest of it, so not as easy as it sounds, but at some point in the future, if ever I get a bit of spare time, I might put a little shout out for anyone that's relatively local, sort of within 20 miles of here. If you've got a bike that you think people would like to see, whether I can come around yours with my camera and microphone and we do a little readers rides on your bike. So yeah, very much something I'd love to do, just a matter of finding time. Just stand by a second. Oh, thank you very much, Stuart Osborne. Thank you very much indeed. This is fantastic. Okay, what else we got coming in on the wires? Hello from South Africa. Wow. We've got a global audience today. That's I think South Africa's possibly the furthest yet. I'm just thinking about Abu Dhabi. No, I think South Africa probably has it. Let's see if we get anyone else. Something shot by from Sweden there. I don't know if it was a football-related thing. We'll see if it comes back. Hi, Team F. Did my KTM Super Duke demo and loved every minute. Still smiling now. Garage will be orange soon. Well done, Mark. Yeah, what a bike that is, isn't it? Incredible beast of a bike. I've got a video coming up soon, I think, which I'm calling something like my top 5 naked bikes of 2018. Stay tuned for that, and I wonder if the Super Duke will feature in that. We'll see. Stanley Tam, Canada may be the first. Sorry, I missed that. Is that where you are, Stan? Or maybe somebody else mentioned that. No, Canada. Yeah, Canada. Depends where in Canada. South Africa is still quite a long way away. Africa's much bigger than you're led to believe when you look at a map, aren't you? Because of the way they do the projections. But that's another question. Ollie, what bike would you recommend after passing the CBT? Great question, Ollie. And I would point you, if you're a new rider, if you're in that position, to have a look at a video I made a couple of years ago. It's called something like, if you Google how to choose your first big bike. I did a video sort of in detail on my thoughts on this subject. But basically, my view would be, don't go for anything too powerful. As much as you might love the idea of a Super Duke GT or a Lita sports bike, there's time to do those later. You want to make sure that you kind of learn your craft and get there alive, such that you can enjoy those bikes. So my view would be, get something certainly less than 100 horsepower. That is quite powerful. If you can get something for sort of 60, 65 horsepower, something like that, then I think that's a good size to learn your craft on. Something I would think like the KTM Duke 390 Duke. Never know which way around that goes. Brilliant little bike, really enjoyed that. Again, I've done reviews on that bike, check that out as well, Ollie, if you haven't seen that. That's a great bike. Any of the A2 friendly stuff tend to be lower powered. Some of the Triumphs, things like the T100, absolutely beautiful bikes, and I think they're putting out something like 70 horsepower, something like that. Just don't want too much power that's going to frighten you and be something you can't handle to start with. And also the other thing I would recommend is go for, if you can, buy something second hand to start with, because you will grow out of it pretty quickly. You'll learn your craft, because you'll be enthusiastic to start with. You'll learn your craft quite quickly, and within 6 months you will tire of that lower power bike and you will want something a bit bigger. Oh, Rutger, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Putting €5 on you getting 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That's very kind of you. I hope so. I'm heading towards 80,000 now, which is amazing. And this week I went past 20 million views in total, which just absolutely blows my mind. Somebody commented, I put a thing on Facebook saying that I've just passed 20 million views because I was quite pleased with myself. And somebody said, do you get $1 per view or something? Wouldn't that be amazing? It's something like 0.0001 of a cent per view. So sadly, although it's a big number, it doesn't amount to much money. But nonetheless, it's a mind-blowing number, isn't it? And also went to a concert. I've been to a few concerts of late, but I went to one at the weekend in Birmingham. Went and saw part of Pink Floyd, and the venue there in central Birmingham I think held 16,000 people, and as I looked around I thought there's a lot of people here, and then when I thought actually I've got 80,000 people subscribed to the channel, that's again mind-blowing. So thank you so much for watching this stuff. I'm not entirely sure why you watch, but I mean I try and do stuff that I would watch myself, so thank you for that. And I my mind is blown that in the period since I've been doing this a bit more regularly, which is I started I think October 2016 I think was when I said, right, I'm going to put a bit more effort into YouTube, and I started doing 3 videos a week, and I've done that ever since. So not quite 2 years, 18 months, and it's got to this stage. Fantastic. Excuse me a minute, I've got a terrible itch. Do you have a nightmare? Do you get that? Cool, must be my age again. So I've got a big birthday coming soon. I'm living in denial slightly, but let's just say at the moment I'm in my mid-40s, but it ain't going to be by the time I next speak to you. It's going to be time up. Anyway, right, let's get back to some questions. Right, what do we got here? T100 is 55 brake horsepower, Paul says. Thank you for the correction. Yeah, that's a much more manageable number. I think 55 brake horsepower would be fine. And the thing with the T100 is the way they've done that power delivery, it's nice and low down, so it doesn't feel like a low power bike. And let's face it, 55 brake horsepower isn't low power, is it? It's ample. That bike will still easily do 100 miles an hour plus, and it accelerates very quickly. So, that's great, so thanks for the correction. Well, actually, I can hear a very loud motorcycle outside now. I don't know if this mic's picking that up at all, but anyway, maybe it's somebody after the Donald. Street triples are great, says Z17X. Yeah, I agree. Oh, crikey, these go off off quick. Pippa Mars, I watch because your reviews and tour vids are really enjoyable to watch. Thank you, Pippa. I'm glad you think so. Good. Actually, that's really valuable feedback. I mean, I'd be interested to know, and again, I'm not trying to say how great I am or blow my own trumpet or anything, but I'd like to understand what it is that makes you watch, because then I can do more of it. JLo staff, hello mate, lovely to see you or hear from you. First time with you live. Oh, well done. Changing any of your bikes anytime soon? This is something I get asked quite a lot, and the straight answer, an easy answer, is no. And the reason for that is because, as you know, of course, I do get to ride quite a lot of new bikes, which is great. And in fact, the other day, one of my kids said to me, Dad, why do you even need a bike? Because you've always got these bikes that you're borrowing. You don't actually need to have your own bikes. And there is sort of some truth in that. But the real reason is the bikes that I own, I actually love. I took a lot of care selecting those bikes. I have 4 motorcycles. Honda CRF, which I use for a bit of green laning and general running about. Great, lightweight, fun, sounds good, easy to ride. Great fun bike. I've got my Panigale 899. I got that because I just love the way it looks. It goes really well as well. Got bags of character. It sounds amazing. Looks fantastic. To my mind, all Panigales, best looking bikes ever. So that's why I got that one. And there's no other bikes to trump that one yet, as far as I'm concerned. The big GS, which is my touring bike, obviously. And again, no other bikes that I've found yet I think are significantly better. If I was to replace that, it'd be with another GS. What am I missing? Oh, Street Triple, of course, just fantastic. I love Triumphs, and I can't imagine having a garage without a Triumph in it. And again, even though they've improved the Street Triple and things like the Speed Triple are arguably now nicer than the Street Triple I've got, they're not worth the extra money it would take for me to actually spend to get them, if that makes sense. So that was a long sort of answer, JLo. To say no, I'm not changing any of my bikes anytime soon, because to do so you get that massive depreciation hit. You might get a marginally better bike, but actually I love the bikes I've got, and I get to ride them so infrequently now because I'm always riding other bikes. This is one of the unintended consequences of doing this YouTube game. You don't get to ride your own bikes very often, and they're the bikes I love. So when I do ride them, I ride on average twice a day something. I kind of, when I say force myself, I don't force myself because I do it because I love riding. But particularly in this lovely weather we've been having here in the UK, we've been having a prolonged heat wave. We've had an absolutely cracking summer, and it's a beautiful evening out there today. And if I wasn't doing this, I'd be out riding my bike just for the heck of it. So those are the bikes I want to ride. That was a very long answer, JLo, wasn't it? Long answer. Those are the bikes I really want to be riding. When I get the chance to go out on them, I do, and so far I can't see me changing them for some time unless somebody brings out something amazing. But all bikes, all modern bikes, they're good, aren't they? And they're little, some bikes have things about them that you like more than others. There are incremental improvements, but there's no real step change. It's not like they're suddenly bringing out a turbine powered bike or something. I haven't said that. Who knows? With superchargers and things, we'll see. Right, let's see what other questions we've got coming up. Scottish Girl Bike. I'll watch because you clearly love bikes. Speak clearly. Oh, I missed the other bit. Sorry about that. Maybe you can repeat that. I will rewatch the recording, so I will see all your comments. Thanks for that. And fantastic that you're called Scottish Girl Biker. I hope that means that you are actually a female. One of the things that YouTube gives you are an awful lot of statistics, so it shows you the sorts of people that watch your videos, where they are, how long they watch them for, etc. And that's all really useful intel. One of the very disappointing figures for me is that 97% of my viewers are males. So Scottish Biker Girl, you are very much in the minority. Thank you for sticking with me. How's the video quality going? I wonder. I see my stream health. I've got a little amber showing here at the moment, which I think is probably okay. But obviously I can't tell whether I've got any jitter or anything. Let me know if it's not going well. Live voting from Rick. I don't know how you do that. I'm sure if I put some effort into some research, I could probably work out how that works. I mean, if we could do some live voting, that would be good. We could ask some live questions on some particular topics and maybe do some live streams just on a particular topic. That would be a good thing. I like that idea. Okay, I'm getting some quality, saying the video's good, video's fine, excellent. Perfect here in Abu Dhabi, brilliant. Bob, wow, lots of activity here. Yeah, 476 people watching now, I'm told, which is brilliant. Just an amazing, considering it is a lovely evening, and I'm assuming most people watching are probably in the UK. The fact that you're willing to sit here for the next half an hour and watch me rabbiting on about motorbikes rather than being out in your garden. I was going to say cutting the lawn, but you don't need to cut the lawn at the moment because it's all parched. It's just amazing, so thank you again. Well, what we got here? Pesquida, planning or getting a motorcycle, what would be good gear to get? Or any one of the chat can suggest stuff. Okay. Well, actually, there's a video that I'm going to be making soon. I have a feeling a lot of the people that watch my videos are possibly new bikers, so I'm going to do a few more videos aimed at maybe novices. And in fact, I've got a playlist. I don't know if you've seen it. You maybe don't look at my playlist, but if you go to my main page, scroll to the bottom, there are playlists there, and look at the show more where they're all listed. And I think there's a playlist called something like beginning bikers videos or new bikers videos, something like that. There's all sorts of stuff in there that may help you out, so do check those out. But as far as specific gear for new bikers is concerned, that is exactly one of the videos that I've got planned that I'm going to be making, because there's all sorts of gear out there. I mean, as a minimum, of course, you need a helmet and gloves and boots, but also, once you get going into it and, you're definitely going to be a biker, then you're going to want some proper winter gloves. You're probably going to want some summer gloves. You might want a summer lightweight jacket. You might want a set of leathers. You might want a textile jacket for again, maybe in the winter, some various layers, all sorts of stuff. I mean, you can spend as much or as little money as you like, and there's all sorts of manufacturers that offer these things. I'm personally a fan of things like RST kit. I think that's great value for money. I don't say that because they sponsor me or anything. They don't, but I just think they offer great kit. I've bought a lot of their stuff and it works really well. I'm soon to be going on another big tour, of which more in a minute, and I'll be no doubt wearing my RST kit to that. Well, may not actually, we'll see. It might be something else. I realised that as soon as I said it. But yeah, so there's all sorts of kit out there, and I will be doing some videos on that. I was kind of thinking that's maybe something I should do. I can record more once the weather changes and it's winter time. Now it's so lovely, I want to be out there on the bike and doing videos about actually being on the bike rather than actually being in the garage doing reviews. But come winter, I'll do more reviews, and I'll have you in mind when I do that. Let's just check out some of these other questions that are coming in. Ollie, ever been on a quad or a trike? I have been on a quad, never on a trike. I did an off-roady thing on some quads once, and some other stuff. There was quads there. I actually drove some tanks on the same course, Russian T-62s. I drove a rally car that steered the opposite way to your input. It was very strange anyway. So yeah, it was a quad, but I wasn't that impressed, to be fair. Let me just see what else. G-Man's Bikes and Bits. Love my Dainese Dare gear, although not cheap. Yeah, or is it Dare? I was reading about this earlier on today somewhere. I think in yesterday's MCN there was a bit about airbag type kit. And what a great idea. I'm pretty sure I invented that, actually. About 20 years ago, I thought to myself, wouldn't it be great to have airbags built into motorbike kit? And I thought I ought to patent that idea, and obviously I did nothing about it. And then blow me down, about 10, 15 years later, they come out with airbags in kit, and I'm thinking, I should have done that. I've had a few inventions like that. I can't claim sliced bread or cat size, but anyway, if I have any more of those great ideas, I'm definitely going to be patenting them. Actually, I've got one idea. Obviously, for obvious reasons, I'm not going to tell you what that is. I need to get it done. Right, what else we got? RSTR good for starting out with. Poacher 551 as well. Yes, and I think good for sticking with. I've been using their kit for years. I find it great. What else we got? Is the Suzuki SV650 review coming anytime soon? From Juris. Yes, it is. Unfortunately, because of the way I've got my screens, I have two screens here in my study where I'm talking to you from set up. One has something called OBS on it, which is the open source broadcast software that allows me to put these fancy screens and things up with the writing on. And then the other screen has YouTube on it, which gives me things like my screen health, how many people are watching, etc. So I've got no more screen real estate, so I can't open up my schedule to tell you when that's coming. Next time, if I get my act together, I will print out my sort of release schedule. Believe it or not, I know what videos I've got coming. I've got dates next to them all the way up until the middle of November, which I know sounds unbelievably organised and anal, but then I am quite organised and quite anal. So I could, if I got my act together, I could have told you exactly the date they're coming. But I've got, just to let you know some more on that, I've got 3 SV650 videos coming. My initial review, I've then got a top 5 things I love. I do this quite often when I have a long-term bike. And then I've got my sort of living with type review where I go in depth and in detail about all the things I learned about the SV650. I think, off the top of my head, they're coming the week after next, or the first one is. So stay tuned for those. They're definitely coming. You ain't going to miss them. Right, let's have a look. What else we got? Mark Lakey. Hi, Shaky here. I bought a 2018 1200 GS exclusive, put full system on it. Best motor I've had. Brilliant. Good. I told you they were good, didn't I, Mark? You see? I did tell you. What else we got? 94 is lowest in EU, says Pillicun. Don't know what that refers to. Darren Parker. This winter will be my first winter as a biker in the UK. Do you have any tips for winter riding? Great question, Darren. And again, actually, I've got a video that I've made about winter riding. I never got it published because I didn't quite finish it. But there are lots of things to think about in winter. Not least things like icy weather. In fact, before winter, autumn in itself presents its own challenges. Leaves on the road can be extremely slippery. If you live in a country area as I do, go around my normal country lane rides, hit a patch of fallen leaves can be very slippery. You've got to be careful of those. So obviously it's a lack of traction in the winter is the main issue, I would say. So it's riding in the wet, riding in the snow, riding in ice, riding on leaves, all dodgy. Just got to calm yourself down a bit and be wise that even though you may have ABS and all the rest of it fitted on your bike, physics does take over at some point, so you've got to ride to the conditions. Then, of course, there's the lack of light, so no smoked visors, because you could get caught out if you're riding in the evening. And, of course, pay attention to keeping your lights clean, that sort of thing. And then the other thing, just off the top of my head, without thinking this through in detail, is keeping yourself warm. Back to the kit discussion we had before. I'm a huge fan of heated grips, but sometimes if you're riding really cold, if it's like sub-zero or probably, I'd say less than 2 degrees centigrade. Often heated grips aren't enough on their own. I find heated grips and heated gloves are what I need when it gets that cold. So so just a few things off the top of my head, but it's still the middle of summer, so let's not think about winter too much. How are we doing for time? Goodness me, it's 25 past already. I can't believe where the time goes doing this. Right, let me just catch a couple more questions coming up. Evil Knievel says hello. Hey to you. Did you see that fella, by the way? Can't remember who it was, who just did those Evil Knievel jumps. It made the news the other day. He was in Vegas and he did 3 jumps that Evil Knievel, I think, may have fouled on all 3, including jumping over those fountains in Vegas. Amazing. Anyway, this guy got away with it and he did it sort of in homage to Evil Knievel. So brilliant. And just see that we've got 502 people watching now, which is just mind-blowing. Brilliant. Okay, Rutger, don't you dare stop yet. Thank you, Rutger. I could talk here all day, as you probably gathered. Not that I love the sound of my own voice, perhaps I do. But what have I got to talk about? I mean, I can just ramble on all day if you want. Hi from South Africa. Hi, Mark. Good to see you. Recognise the name from many comments. Thanks for all your support. Joshua, hi. I am a really huge fan. Oh, thank you, Joshua. Good. What, you mean you're massive or you just like the stuff? Greetings to you from Akira. Travis Pastrana. That was the guy. Thank you. I missed whoever mentioned that, but thank you. That was the fella, yeah. Oh, and Chris also says Travis Pastrana. Just got here, so keep talking, please, from Agitated Ramblings. Okay, will do. Well, I'm more than happy to stay on for another half an hour if you don't get bored of me. Street triple for a first bike from Youssef. No, would be my answer. Although they do a lower power version, which may be worth considering. But I would say no. As a street triple owner, I've had mine now for 6 years actually. In fact, that reminds me, 6-year anniversary video should be done. I haven't done that. And they're powerful bikes, 115, 120 horsepower, more than a new rider needs. So no, I wouldn't get one as a first bike. I know lots of people do, and lots of people say, well, it doesn't matter how powerful it is, I can control it, it's in my right wrist. Yes, of course you can ride any bike slowly, but I would suggest to you, as a new rider, you would not be able to resist opening that throttle and seeing what the bike could do. And therein lies pain. So don't go that way. As tempting as it is, you've got all the time in the world to ride these other bikes. Go for something lower powered to start with. As I say, buy second hand so you don't get a big hit on depreciation. Take it from me, because I learnt the hard way on this. And after 6 months, sell that second hand bike for pretty much what you bought it. You won't have lost any money, but you'll be a much better rider. Then you can get your street triple. That way you stay alive to enjoy those powerful bikes. That would be my strong advice. R125 is worth getting from Ollie. Yes, it depends what you want to do with it. Of course, it's like all these things, depends exactly what your mission is as to what bike you should have. But if you're in a town and you just need cheap transport, 125 perfect. If you want to learn how to ride a bike, 125 again, perfect. I think providing you don't need to go on any big major fast roads or huge distances, then 125s are absolutely fine for shorter distances on more minor roads. Absolutely fine. I really enjoy riding 125s actually, because normally things like 125s are very light, and lighter bikes in my mind are fun to ride, or more fun than heavy ones, and 125s usually are. What have we got here? Paul Dolby. Hi Tim F, are you going to do a review of a Moto Guzzi? This comes up pretty much every time I do a live stream. I'd love to. I don't have access to any Moto Guzzis. I would if I don't actually know where the local dealer is. Having said that, I have been talking to a dealer of late up in Peterborough who may be able to help me out. So I'm hoping that might be coming. So I very much would love to ride a Moto Guzzi or Guzzi. But how is it pronounced, by the way? I think it's Guzzi. Guzzi, as in the Italian. So yeah, I'd love to ride them, but I just haven't had the chance yet. But hopefully that may be coming in the next 6 months, or maybe before. Dave, I'm watching in Malta, south of Italy. Brilliant. Don't get the prize for furthest away. Whoops. That goes to the Canadians. Hello. Hello, somebody from Colorado here. Brad. Hiya, Brad. Loving your tour of Western Scottish Isles. Cheers. Brilliant. Thanks, Brad. Glad you're enjoying that. One more to come. Lox Bay, love the Scotland vlogs. Wonder why that is. Maybe you're a local, perhaps, just a guess. Ian, Wheels, Motorcycles, Guzzi. Yeah, that's the one. I got rid of my Africa Twin 2017. Didn't like it, says Ivan. What was it about it that you didn't like, Ivan? I quite like the Africa Twin, but I more like the Africa Twin Sport, is it called? Can't remember. I think it is. No, the Adventure Sport? Africa Twin Adventure Sport, that's the one. That is a really, really nice bike. But anyway, a bit tall, but nice bike. Hello, Baron here from Australia. Well, okay, you've just trumped us all. Oh, there you go. Second mention of Trump in this live broadcast. Were you here, by the way? Donald Trump flew over earlier. Brilliant. Actually, Baron, you're not his son, are you? So yeah, you get the prize for the furthest away. Thank you. Nick says Moto Gucci. Interesting. It's like a designer version, presumably. When you swap in, disappeared off before I got to read that one. I'll come back to those questions in a minute. Keep them coming. I love hearing your live stuff. I love the live interaction. It's brilliant. Let me just take a couple more of these questions that I didn't answer from last time. Steve Inskip, who's a regular contributor to my channel, he says, after a few days to reflect, do you consider the Speed Triple is a better bike than the Street Triple? It's always confused me how Triumph have failed to develop the Speed Triple over recent years. Great question, Steve. And of course, Triumph haven't failed, have they, develop the Speed Triple now, because they just have. They've made loads of changes to it in the last year, and I rode that bike recently. I don't know if you saw my review of that, and I used to think that the Street Triple was just the better bike, full stop. Lighter, more fun, more agile, went just as well, looked as good, but I think now with all the changes, the Speed Triple is back on par. I really do. And if I were to buy a new naked Triumph, I would probably go for the Speed over the Street. Not because I think the Speed is a better bike, but I think it's equally as good, and because, of course, I've owned the Street Triple for 6 years, it'd be nice for a bit of a change. So to me, I would go for a Speed Triple. I'm not saying it's better than the Street Triple, but I think it's probably on a par. It's a really, really nice bike now. I don't know how they've managed to do it, but it feels more agile, and it's a beefy beast of a bike, and that big 1050cc Triple, love it. So there we go, Steve. So that's that one. Next, just one more question from the unanswered ones from last time. CJ SLR099, strange name. Sorry if that is your name. He said, having ridden the latest version of the GS and the GSA, would you consider swapping your 14 model to the new ones to have more refined upgrades? Well, I would consider swapping if you were to give me one of the new ones to swap it. Yeah, absolutely. But I wouldn't. I think, you know, the sense of your question is, would I pay for the new one over the one that I've got? And the answer is no. There's no doubt that the new bike, or the newer bikes, are better than mine in a number of ways. They have got some refinements. In particular, the smoothness of the engine, the gearbox, the quick shifter is better, and of course now they've got the TFT screen as well. Although, to be fair, the jury's a little bit out for me with TFT screens. Oh, thank you, Scottish Girl Biker. £5. Thank you very much. That'll get me up to Scotland again. You should do a tour of Arran, Millport, and lots of other roads around here. Lots of fun can be done in a couple of days. Here's a contribution. Thank you, Scottish Girl Biker. I assume that's the Scottish spelling of contribution. Brilliant. Very kind of you. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be back to Scotland soon. As I say, I've got one more Western Isles video to come. That's coming tomorrow. Those tour videos always come on a Friday. I don't know if you've noticed that. But the last one of that series is going to be posted tomorrow morning. I've already uploaded it. It's ready to go. Just got to press the publish button tomorrow morning about 8 o'clock. And then that's that one done. But I'll definitely be back to Scotland. In fact, I'm coming back to Scotland this year, although maybe not with a bike. But I'll probably be back next year. Definitely to do those islands that I missed out on this time. I'm going to be a bit more organised, make sure I don't miss the ferries. And I will reread your comment in the when I watch the replay and just make a note of where you said. Might have to come back to you actually and find out exactly the details. So thank you for that, and thank you for your top chat, live chat thing. That's brilliant. Okay, what else have we got coming up on the here? Michael Dignan, what types of drone do you use and has those fold away blades? Interesting. So yeah, the drone I used, oh god, I've been asked this so many times. It's actually in the details of the videos that I've posted in. It's actually the DJI Mavic Air. If you stand by, it's just here. Hang on. I got the one with what's called the Fly More package, which gives you this little doozy bag and a load of batteries. And basically, the drone, if you're not familiar with drones, this is it. I mean, the technology is amazing. That's it. I mean, you can literally stick that in your pocket, couldn't you? And it doesn't have fold-away blades as such, but it does have these little fold-away arms. So basically, you pull it out like that, and bingo, that's the whole drone. So that is the thing, complete with its gimbal-stabilised camera that you saw those shots if you watched my video last Friday, or was it the one before, where I did the Sky Bridge at sunset. That was all done by this little tiny thing. It's capable of flying at 47 miles per hour. It's got sensors that stop it crashing into things in front of it, behind it, underneath it. It's, as I say, it's like a tripod in the air. It does HD, it'll do 4K. Absolutely incredible bit of kit. If you're into drones, well, that's the one to have as far as I'm concerned. Took me ages to decide to get one. Let me just get rid of it again, because they are expensive. But I say that was about £1,000, so it took me a while to decide that I could justify it. But I'm a keen photographer, and to be honest, you can spend easily £1,000 on just a lens for an SLR. So to get all that for that sort of price actually is outstanding value for money. The technology that's packed into that does all sorts of stuff. Maybe one day, if there's enough interest, I'll just do a video on that. I know it's a motorcycle channel, so I don't want to do too much on other subjects, but if that's something that interests people, maybe I'll do a little video on that. Absolutely incredible technology. I don't want to overdo the drone shots, and thank you to Poacher551 saying liking the drone shots. And I've had lots of good positive comments on those few drone shots I've put in those recent tour videos, so thank you for that. I'm glad I've not overdone it. I'm still sort of at the novelty stage with it. By the way, that reminds me, talking of drones, and I did a video I think last week. It was called something like Panigale Musings, and it was just like a vlog on my Ducati 899. And I talked about the fact that with Donald Trump visiting this area, he's coming to Chequers tomorrow, tomorrow being Friday. And as I've already mentioned, I'm not far away from Chequers. And I said on that video, there was absolutely nothing, as a pilot, I know about airspace, and there's absolutely nothing stopping me flying my drone over Chequers while Donald Trump was there. Well, they must have watched that video, because this came out. This is part of what's called a NOTAM, a Notice to Airmen, which basically is, in this case, a 21-page document detailing all the closed airspace while Donald Trump is in the area. And in fact, as I speak now, it's quiet out there of light aircraft, because there are no light aircraft allowed in this area at all. They've completely shut down the airspace around here while Donald Trump is in the area, basically for a couple of days. In fact, to the point that the airfield that I normally fly from, White Waltham down in Maidenhead, they've basically closed tomorrow, because there's so much Donald Trump activity going on above their head as he whips from Chequers down to Sandhurst and then up to Windsor and then back to central London. It's just too hard to go flying. So yeah, basically this whole area west of London, which is where I am, has been locked down airspace wise. Nothing's allowed to fly below 3,500 feet, so that stops me taking off. So if I do go to Chequers tomorrow, I won't be flying the drone, because it is in fact now illegal, although it wasn't last week when I made that video. So I thought that's quite ironic. Anyway, just thought I'd mention that. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. Questions coming up. Nick, Amazing small drone, already sell them for 50 quid. Really? I can't imagine it's got quite the technology that mine has. Fentor, I tour with the Mavic Pro Platinum. Awesome kit. I don't know about the Platinum. I must look that one up. What else have we got? My question keeps getting drowned. Lol. But will there be that's from Stanley Tam. Well, I almost got your question. It got drowned again. Sorry about that, Stanley. Scottish Spider Girl. Our road have been restricted to 30 or 40 miles an hour. What? While he's up there at his golf resort. That's interesting because I thought the golf trip that he's doing coming up to his place, can't remember what it's called now, but that isn't part of the official visit, is it? That's just him doing that privately. So they've even done that. Even done that as part of his unofficial bit. Oh, Stanley Tam, aviation at the end of it. I've forgotten what the first bit was. Keep it around. But will there be aviation? Sorry, Stanley. Still don't understand the question. Maybe have another bash, and I'll keep a lookout. Graham, speaking from Chicago, you're welcome to the Donald. Please keep the twat there. Okay, busy multitasking. ACF 50, my GS while watching you. Brilliant. Is it ACF 50 time of year already? Goodness me. There's a few more months to go before I start thinking about ACF 50 again. Although I've got myself now a one of those things. Pressure doodah, what's it? So I'm going to spray it on properly this time. So I'm going to make another ACF 50 video this year come winter. I usually apply it around about November time, just as they're about to apply the salt to the roads. So I'll do a different sort of ACF 50 vid this year. Question drone again. TMF, what do you think of a Mutt 250 as a first bike? Would be a little too low powered. Restricted to A2 license right now because of age. A Mutt 250 as a first bike. I don't think it'd be too low powered. No, I think that'd probably be fine. But again, I mean, Mutts luckily are good value for money, aren't they? So it's something you could buy, and then if you decided it was underpowered, which you probably would after about 6 months, I would portend, then you're not going to lose too much money if you then sell it on. 250cc bikes, I think, are great fun, and you might find that you buy it and you want to keep it anyway, and then buy something else as well if you can, if you've got space and money to do that. But yeah, I think that would make a fine bike. They're dead cool, aren't they? They look fantastic. I do love a TMF ACF 50 video from Gaslight. Thank you very much. Good. Yeah, I've made a couple of those. As I say, there's at least one more in me. Compressor, that was the word I was failing to find, Mark. Thank you. Check out Nat's Drone Assist app. I'll do that, actually, Fentor. I haven't looked at that. I kind of rely, again, on, because of my flying activities, I do keep sort of abreast of the NOTAM, so I hopefully know what's going on in the local airspace. But yeah, if there's an app, that might be quite useful. I used to collect top trump cards, says Ian. So did I. How things have changed, eh? Nick Lascaris. Hiya, Nick. Good to hear from you. Do you have a view on the application of copper grease to brake pads? No, I don't. It's far too techie for me, Nick. Blimey, you've been watching me long enough to know that when it comes to things technical and bikes, I'm a bit of a numpty. I mean, I have a crack at simple things, but no, I'm the wrong man. You want to speak to my mate Delboy of Delboy's Garage. Ask him, he'll know the answer to that one. Okay, what else have we got coming up? Columbus Night. Scottish tour was great, as was the drone footage. Thank you, Columbus. That drone can follow you whilst you ride, says Josh. Yeah, it can technically. The problem with that is you have to make it happen, you'd have to be sitting on your bike with the controller in your hand, which also has your iPhone connected. You then have to set it up into follow me mode, effectively, which takes a few moments, all the while the battery is running down. You then got to put the controller somewhere in a top box or in your jacket or something, and then ride while it follows you. And again, the battery's running down. It only lasts for 20 minutes per flight. And you've got to find a road that's got, you know, clear approaches so that as you ride, it can keep up with you without trees and bushes and things getting in the way and spoiling the view. It won't hit the trees and bushes because of those sensors I talked about. But when you think about it, it's actually quite hard to do that. And then the other thing, of course, is it has got a top speed of 47 miles an hour. But, you know, that's in ideal conditions and in something called sport mode when it does quite a bit of tilting, and sometimes you can see the rotors on those bits. So it's not as straightforward as it sounds. Certainly if I was doing a tour over the desert in Morocco, which may be happening later in the year, then that sort of thing is perfectly possible. But in congested roads of the southeast, the whole follow me mode doesn't really work, not practically anyway. Well, that's my view. What have we got there? Fred Morrison has left a comment which I can't actually see. Okay, what else we got? Roadrunner Matt, would you do a review comparison on the MV Augusta F3 800 perhaps compared to your 899? Love to. Again, MV Augusta, a bit like before when I talked about the Moto Guzzi's. It's just not a bike that I have available to me. I'm going to try and see if I can fix that because they're exotic, nice, lovely bits of exotica, aren't they? And I'll see. But at the moment, just don't have access to them. I'd love to ride one of those. They look beautiful bikes, don't they? Are Africa Twin or 1200 GS too much off-road orientated if you only ride on-road, says Eric. I don't think so. I ride 95%, well, more than that, 99% on the road with my GS. I use it really as a touring bike, as I suggest 99% of GS owners do. And that, I think, is just because it's we fall foul of the whole, there's the, I don't like to use the word, but the lifestyle element. Let's face it, they look a bit cooler, don't they, I think, than some of the big touring bikes. Arguably, a dedicated touring bike, if you're on-road only, will be better. You get better wind protection, radios, if you want that sort of thing on the bike. But no, there's no reason why you can't just use them as touring bikes. That's certainly what I do. Excuse me, how we do for time? Gosh, I have to wrap up soon. Questions still coming in thick and fast. Let me see what we got coming in now then. Hi, I messaged a while ago from Perth. I'm over on holiday. Fantastic. Does that mean you're over here in the UK watching in UK time? That's brilliant. Otherwise, you'll be up very late. Great stuff. Are there any brands of bikes you dislike from Ollie? That's a good question. Any brands of bikes I dislike? I don't think there are. I love all bikes. Some are better than others. And some bikes I like the look of more than others. But I can't think of any off the top of my head that I just out and out say I dislike. No, I'm not up for any of them. Are there any you dislike then? I'd be interested to know. David Hall, could you play Stairway to Heaven at the end? Somebody always asks that. Did you notice, by the way, I've got the Brian May guitar up tonight. Somebody did spot that on a video the other day. I think it was on my little teaser one. Somebody said, is that a Brian May guitar? So yes, it is the answer. As I mentioned again on that Panigale video, I think I'm a huge Queen fan. In fact, I saw them in concert twice last week. That's how keen I am. No Stairway from Professor Trout. Okay, I won't do it then. What else have we got? Have you ever drove on the beautiful Croatian coast? No, I haven't. Who was that one from? 60R15 RIS? No, I haven't. I would love to, although at the moment Croatia is a little bit of a black mark for obvious reasons. Let's not go there. Any aviation vids coming up from Stanley again? I've been toying with this. I do quite a bit of flying. I was flying only yesterday, in fact. Popped down for a cheeky lunch in Dorset. Went to Compton Abbas, very nice down there, and lovely in this lovely weather. And when I did that last flying video, which I think I called Bike Fly Ride or something, if you haven't seen that, I just did a local flight. I got lots of positive comments, and I thought, yeah, I should do some more of these, and I would love to do it. The only issue is I am aware that this is a bike channel, and most people that watch it are here to watch and watch stuff about motorcycles. So if I do too many flying stuff, I'm worried I might alienate people. But yeah, I think I might sneak in another cheeky one or two. Somebody asked, could I do a flying video where I actually go somewhere and show you what's involved in a trip in the aeroplane? So yeah, I might do that. That'd be great to do. So yeah, I think I'll do one more, see how that goes. But just want to be a bit careful that I do keep it motorcycle focused. Nick, Under Pressure, my favourite when landing. Okay, so you listen to Queen whilst flying. Fair enough. I don't actually do the music in the air. I don't do music on the bike, actually. I find I want to concentrate, but that's your choice. I just don't mean that in a bad way, but you know what I'm saying. What was your first leaner bike, Paul? I assume you mean learner bike. I learnt to ride on a Yamaha YB125, YB or YS. Anyway, the classic Yamaha that everybody rides. That's what I did. Love flying vids, says Andrew. No more zeros from Splodge 57. Well, the guys from Zero were very lovely to me. As you know, I love the Zero DSR that I borrowed, and sadly I had an off on it and damaged their bike, which they fixed. And we had a little chat afterwards, and they were, as I say, very nice about it. They fixed it, and they said I could have the bike back to finish the review whenever I wanted, basically. And because of, I mentioned earlier, I don't know if you were watching earlier when I said I have a sort of a schedule of videos that run out until actually November now. It was quite hard to find a time to book the thing in. So I do want to do that. I do want to get it back. Maybe I shouldn't do it in the winter. But yeah, I need to talk to those guys again, schedule that in, because I've got half a Living with the Zero DSR video in the can. I'd like to finish that off. So yeah, hopefully we'll do that. Tourist Trike, do you only fly fixed wing or helicopters as well? I'd love to fly helicopters. Helicopters are my favourite way of transport. There's no doubt about it. But have you seen how expensive they are? You think flying a fixed wing is expensive, helicopter twice as expensive. So I'd love to do it. I every now and then I get threatened with like a helicopter lesson as a birthday present, and as much as I'd love to do that, I just think I might get hooked and suddenly it would all get very expensive. So yeah, I'd love to, but just a bit too YBR125, thank you, that was the one. But yeah, a bit too expensive for me, I'm afraid. John Darwin, Portugal trip. Yeah, love to. Not done Portugal much. I've only been there on work trips, so yeah, that would be a good one. Maybe one for next year. I've got to get my head around what tours I'm going to do next year. Fast Frankie, stop scratching. You're making me itch. Get a wash. Thanks for that. I did have a shave. hopefully that'll be enough. Gordon, oh no, Tim F, you're not a Queen fan. Please, you have to break free, honestly. Very good, very good. I see what you did there. If you could ride any bike in the world, what would it be? From Ollie again. God, you're getting a lot of questions in. Any bike in the world, what would it be? That's a good question. I need to think about that a bit more. I mean, off the top of my head, I'm thinking actually my Panigale would probably be it. I love that bike, just as a something that makes me feel good. But yeah, I don't know. I need to think about that some more. Oh, thank you, Will. Another super chat thing. 20 quid. Thank you very much. All the best. Keep up the good chat. Blimey. Well, I've been on for nearly an hour, Will. I'm going to have to wrap it up soon. I could chat here for another hour, but I'm sure you'd get bored and my YouTube might blow up. Julian, as a mate of Del Boy, do you know why he hasn't been featured in MCN? I don't know. Maybe they spoke to him and didn't want to do it. I'm not sure. Good question. Why? I don't know if you've seen. I do a monthly column in MCN called Blog Off, something like that. There's me and 4 others. We rotate. So it's a weekly paper. So every week one of us does an article. So there's myself and 44 Teeth do it, or Al Fagan does it from 44 Teeth. And I quite enjoy doing it actually. It gives me a bit of a concern because there's kind of a deadline that comes up when I get a mail saying you need to send us your article for next Tuesday's paper run. So there's always a little bit of pressure, and I never quite know until the day what the heck I'm going to write about. So that's a bit of a worry. But I have quite enjoyed doing that. Although I've not seen the reason why I did it. To let you into a bit of a secret, was I thought by getting my little TMF logo into MCN every month, it might give a bit of an uplift on subscribers. But I've not seen any different whatsoever. So I've got a year's contract with MCN. I think I've done 4 or 5. In fact, this week's paper yesterday, my latest one came out talking about whether sports bikes should be banned. So go and buy that one if you haven't seen it. But I don't know. We'll see. Number 1, MCN may not want me next year, but number 2, I'm not sure whether I've got enough things to say. But it seems to come each month. We'll see. Maybe I have. We'll see what happens. But no, I don't know how they selected people to go on there. I had spoken to some of the guys that work at MCN before, so they sort of knew me, and that's probably why I was selected. I don't know. Maybe they should have a chat to Del Boy. That would be good. Moto Groover, hello from Sydney, Australia. Thank you, Moto Groover. Good to have you along. What time of day is it in Sydney? It must be something ridiculous. It's 10 to 9 in the evening on Thursday here. I'm trying to remember if you're ahead or behind us. You're ahead of us, aren't you? So it must be Friday. Crikey. Happy Friday to you. Captain Codder, enough of these Queen innuendos, please. We got all night with those. It's going to be fantastic. Hi Tim F, are you going to Fairford? From Monty Howard. Well, we covered that already. We talked about React at the very start of this mammoth broadcast. Yes, I am. I'm going, in fact, I'm going all weekend, staying till Departures Day as well. Monday, I don't get home till late Monday. I go to Fairford every year. Absolutely love it. It's a shadow of its former self now, isn't it? But this year should be good. It's always good on a Farnborough year. Looking forward to seeing the what's it? Not the X25. You know the plane I mean, the new one. Can't remember what it's called. The Lightning thing. F-35, that's the one. God, my brain, since I've been getting old, it's not going good. What else? We've got 551 Motor Group. My goodness me. I can't sleep well. If you keep watching this, you'll sleep. So keep it here, mate. No motorcyclist. How about one of these new things called horns that aren't for mopeds? I've no idea what you're talking about. What else we got? Let's go for our Croatia trip soon. I've already covered that one off. Croatia at the moment, I'm afraid. Black mark. We're not going there. Come visit Canada. I'd love to grab a pint with you. I'd love to come to Canada again, Stan. I need to come over there. One of my best friends lives in BC. Great. I haven't been over for a while. Love the Rockies. I need to do that on a motorbike. I've done the car tour there. I've skied there. I've done Whistler and all that. Love Canada. Love Canadians. Must get over there. I've got a plan in a couple of years' time to do a sort of a US tour. Maybe I'll sneak a bit of Canada into that. And what I would quite like to do with that is maybe, once I've worked out exactly what I want to do, maybe let people know where I'm going and see if I can meet up with some people as I cross the country. That would be amazing. I want to ride my motorbike. Well done, Jimmy Joe. I can see we've got a lot of Queen fans amongst us. It must be an age thing. I'm going to Fairford on Sunday. Any chance we could meet? Unlikely, Monty. I mean, if you see me, do say hello. But those crowds are big. It'd just be a logistical nightmare. Have you been there before? I mean, it is a big, big setup. But by all means, if you do by chance see me, do come and say hello. It would be lovely to see you. Views on blood bikes. What can I say? I mean, they provided an excellent service as far as I can see, Plymouth Jana, don't they? These guys give up their time, I think, free of charge. They volunteer. They have to be very highly qualified. They have to be advanced riders. They have to have been riding for a long time. I mean, there's a set of criteria they have to meet, which don't, they have to go out of the way to get that, and then they give up their time to do these life-saving runs. I think Blood Bikers, great idea. In fact, it's something that I wouldn't mind doing myself. I'm just not an advanced rider, but I think it's a great idea. What's your thoughts on Blood Bikers? Maybe there's a video there to do on Blood Bikers, maybe. What else we got? Am I the youngest one here? From Stan Tam, 21 years old. Possibly, I don't know. I mentioned earlier that one of the good things that YouTube does is gives you lots of statistics about who's watching your videos, and TMF is a killer queen. Thank you, Ian. They give you lots of statistics about who's watching your videos, how old they are, where they are, etc. And I'm glad to say that my sort of viewing demographic seems to span quite a wide age range, and I'm glad that it's skewed younger than I am as well. Most of my viewers, I said that 97% are males, 50% are basically UK based, then it's about 30% US, 10% Australia, Canada, and breaks down from there. But in terms of age range, all mine are between, or the bulk of mine are between 25 and 55, and I'm towards the upper end of that range. So I'm really pleased that actually it seems I have some appeal to younger bikers than myself, which is excellent. Can't believe I've still got 594 people watching this. 596 now. Another 2 have just joined. Thank you if you just joined. You just added to the stats, and I've been on here for 55 minutes. And another thing that they give you is a little graph, shows you who's joining and leaving. Well, not who, but just gives you the numbers. And the graph has just been going up throughout this broadcast. It's unbelievable. If I stayed here talking for 24 hours, would it keep rising? I doubt it. Anyway, okay, I'm going to have to go in 5 minutes because I will have been on for an hour. That's just ridiculous. Let's just take a few more questions then. I'm in love with my car. Stroke Panigale. Okay, I think we're stretching it a bit far now. I'm 59. Should I leave? No, don't go, J-Lo. There's a tail to the demographics. You're obviously in that tail. Good man. Crazy little thing called love. What else we got? I'm 66. Okay, John. Actually, who's the oldest here? 43, 59. Sorry, Robert, I'm 64. What's the oldest we've got? We've got 66 is the oldest so far. Anyone beat 66? And is anyone younger than 21? I love the way that you can do this stuff. Nothing to do with bikes, but it's fascinating, isn't it? Opinions on cruisers. I sort of covered that earlier. Deadly Raspberry. Great name, by the way. Love that. Wish I'd thought of that. I've become a cruiser man, having been converted by the Triumph Speedmaster. What a lovely bike that is. Now, having ridden that and appreciated it, 613 people now watching. Now I've ridden that and appreciated it, I want to get and ride more cruisers. So Indians, Harley Davidsons, they're all up for grabs. I just got to find somebody to lend me them, a friendly dealer. I do have actually a friendly dealer down in Abingdon that I'm hoping I can ride some Harleys with. Not to mention, I still have a little tacit arrangement with Del Boy. He said I could ride his Harley, and he wants to go on my GS, so we must do that again. I think we're probably both just so busy making YouTube videos, we just haven't had a chance to get together and do that, but at some point we must do that. Alrighty, what else? Touring in Sweden from Kim H. Well, funny you should mention that, actually. I should get to my parish notices. We could do some more questions afterwards, but there are a few things I want to let you know about on the channel, because that reminds me. Because I mentioned the Scottish Western Isles tour comes to an end tomorrow. My tour videos always go out on a Friday. So tomorrow's is the last one of that, but fear not, because another tour is coming. Next Friday, I'm jumping on my GS and I'm riding up to the Arctic Circle. I absolutely can't wait for this. And that's predominantly going to be Norway, effectively. I'm only going as far as the Arctic Circle. I'm not going to, unfortunately, going up to the Lofoten Islands, which I know a lot of people have said I should go to. Maybe that's next time. But I understand from people that have done Norway, so Richie Vida, Teapot 1, they say things like Norway is like Scotland turned up to 11. It's absolutely brilliant. So I'm really looking forward to it. I've checked out the laws on dronage over there as well. It seems I am going to be able to take the drone and fly that. I think there's going to be some spectacular drone shots to be had. Fingers crossed that the weather's good up there. I've been watching the weather forecast for the Arctic Circle for the last few weeks, and it seems during this really hot spell we've been having in the UK, up there it's been sort of about 15 degrees, which is perfect riding weather, really, isn't it? So I hope it stays that way. So yeah, so next Friday I shall be off it's going to take me 2 weeks to ride up there and back. It's a couple of 1,000 miles, a long old trip. Of course I'm going to be recording it. I'll try not to do quite as much as I did of Western Isles, because I'll end up with a 20-part series or something. But I've bought a lot of extra memory cards to cover it. While I'm away, I'm going to attempt, if the technology will allow me, to continue to post 3 videos a week. I've already recorded the videos that I'm going to post. At the moment I'm working my moobs off to get those uploaded. so that when I'm away, I can just publish them while I'm away. So hopefully you'll see no drop in service of the Missenden Fly while I've gone. But if you do, if suddenly I'm only posting a video a week or it goes quiet for a bit, it's because I've just got a technology issue and I'm out touring. But as soon as I come back, I will have loads of footage to share with you. Really looking forward to it. So that was the Sweden thing that reminded me of that. I'm not sadly going to Sweden. I'd love to go to Sweden. I'm a massive fan of the bridge. So, if nothing else, to ride over that bridge. Also, I've never been to Denmark, so going from Copenhagen to Malmö would be fantastic. Anyway, so that was one parish notice. I've got this other tour coming up. Let's just tick that off my list here of things I wanted to tell you about. Oh, and linked to that is if I do go quiet because of the technology, then one way to get updates on what's going on, if you can be bothered, is to follow me on Twitter or Facebook, because I tend to post on there relatively often. I post on there more stuff than I do on YouTube. In that, I tend to post things about my flying and all sorts of stuff on there. So when I'm off on the Norway tour, I imagine I'll be posting pretty much every day what I'm up to, pictures and so on. So if you don't already follow me on Facebook or Twitter, please look me up, the Missenden Flyer. You'll find me. Follow me on there. That would be fantastic. Or if you look at my front page of my main screen on YouTube, at the top of the banner on the right, near the little Teespring merchandise thing, there's a Facebook and Twitter link as well. You can find me there. So do join me. It's a great way to keep in touch outside of YouTube. So that was the Arctic Circle thing. Oh, and the other thing linked to that means that my bike news for July will be late. You know, the thing I do when I review the MCN papers, which I normally do. I alternate, so there's like a blank Wednesday, then there's a bike news Wednesday, then there's a blank one, then there's a Wednesday when I do this live stream. Well, this month, July, August, means the Bike News Monthly will be late. Well, the July one will be late. It'll actually be on August the 8th when I'm back here again and able to do that. So apologies for that, but that's the reason why I'll be late. So I often get people saying, oh, when's Bike News coming out? Well, it will be there. It's just going to be a week late. The other thing I want to remember, I must just say thank you very much to my sponsors of this video, Custom Fit Guards. These are the people that make these. You probably see these on my tour video. Always wear these on the GS. My goodness me, they work really well. Custom Fit Guards. You can get yourself a discount with these. If you look at the little ticker thing at the bottom here, it'll tell you all about the discount, and also there's a link underneath all my videos as to how to go to these guys. But they very kindly sponsor this video and the Bike News videos. I think, I don't get involved with companies that I don't personally use their products or rate. So if it seems like I'm trying to push something, I know I mentioned Custom Fit Guards because they sponsor this, for which I'm very grateful. But they are excellent bits of kit. If you're in the market for some earplugs, go check them out. And as I say, you can get a discount if you say, I think it's Flyer 10 or something, but again, details in the ticker tape below. If you've missed it or it doesn't come round again, just watch the replay, it'll be on there. Okay, another couple of bits of parish notices before I get on to a few more questions, and then we must wrap up because I've been on for over an hour, I think. Just a few of the things that are coming up in the next couple of weeks on the Missenden Flyer. So Tracer 900 GT review, mentioned that earlier. That is a nice bike. That one's coming up. I've got my top 5 retro bikes. That's probably going to be controversial. Struck me, I've ridden quite a lot of bikes in the last 18 months, nearly 100 in fact, and a big chunk of those have been retro style bikes. All the manufacturers, well, with a few exceptions, have retro bikes or indeed retro ranges now, and I love the retro bikes. I think it's not a fad, but it's a great thing. So I've put together, scratched my head and thought which of the ones I really like. Possibly not a surprise as to what my favourites are, but I've put together a video looking at those. So I imagine that'll be a bit controversial. So that's coming up, my top 5 retro bikes. Much more on the KTM 790, my latest long-term bike. I think I published on Monday the first review of that. More coming up, including my long-term review. That is an amazing bike. And that got quite a lot of views, so I think there's a lot of interest in the KTM 790, so much more of that coming. As well as the long-awaited BMW F850 GS. I get my first go on that. That bike was announced ages ago, it seems. In fact, I think it was at NEC last year, so that's, November. And it's only now that I've got to ride that, so that's fun. Also, the SV650, I mentioned long-term reviews on that. I've got some actual kit reviews, going back to that. I've got some helmet reviews coming up. I've got some gloves reviews, and much, much more as well. So stay tuned to the channel. Lots of stuff. I'll try and keep as much variety as I can in the channel, so that's all coming up. Oh, and the other thing, I don't know if you've noticed, actually I'll come back to that in a minute. Let's get off of parish notices. I'll come back to that in a second. Let's just answer a couple more of your questions just to see what's happening on the news wires as we're talking. What do we got? Do you have plans to review a 959 Panigale from Robert Junot? Again, it's the Ducati thing. Yes, I'd love to. I'd love to borrow a 959 long term and do a direct comparison with my 899. It is a superior bike in terms of the technology. It'd be interesting to see in the real world how different that is. So yeah, I do want to do the 959. I want to do it long term. Just not quite sure when I'm going to fit it in. It's not in my schedule at the moment, which, as I mentioned earlier, goes up until November. So not sure when that's going to be. But once me and Ducati get our act together, I'm hopefully going to do that. Ian, I like the Angel Cake vlog. Oh, good. That was the one when I talked about cleaning my kit, by the way. If you haven't seen the how to clean your kit video, that's maybe worth a view. It's a little unusual. What else have we got here? Mike, hi, what's your take on the Del Boy Matt at the workshop fallout? Mike Stainsby. Well, I don't really know much about it, to be honest, Mike, and I don't particularly want to go there. J-Lo stuff, thanks MF. Oh, thank you. What other sources other than MCN can you recommend for news? Well, I've read most of the bike magazines, and I find that they're all pretty good, but they all say much the same thing. The thing with MCN is, because it's weekly, it's a bit more, it's ahead of the news. Well, it's not ahead, but it breaks the news first. It tends to. So I found you read MCN and then you buy the magazines a month later. It's the same stuff you read in MCN a month before. So I ended up not buying the magazines in the end. The only magazine I buy is something called Adventure Bike Rider, which I've been a subscriber to for ages. Specifically around the time when I was looking to buy my GS, because it talks a lot about those sort of bikes. It covers things like the CRF as well. So it's whatever is classed as adventure bikes, they've covered it in that magazine. Quite a good mag. It comes out every 2 months, I think. Just had one through the letterbox today, actually, which is what reminded me about it. That's the only other one I read. I recommend that to you if you're interested in big adventure bikes. Adventure Bike Rider is what it's called. Other than that, I don't really have any other news sources. Of course, I watch YouTube videos like everybody else, including the MCN ones. But yeah, that's my main news source, I'd say. You need a haircut, says Thumper. Yes, indeed I do. I may have shaved my chin, but I should have shaved the head as well. I'm glad you spotted that. Colin Deans, what product would you recommend as a chain cleaner? Crikey. What am I using at the moment? I've used a few things, including the WD-40 chain cleaner, which was quite good value. You can get it from Lidl quite cheap, or indeed from Amazon. But I tend to use the Worth products, both the chain lube and the chain cleaner. They're quite expensive, but I find they work very good. Fiat spotting on the GS 1200 tyre, flat spotting. What tyres do you recommend, Mick? At the moment, I've got the Road Smart. What the heck are they? I'm trying to remember the tyres I've got on there at the moment. The Metzler Road Tech, aren't they? Road Tech 01s. That's it. Metzler Road Tech 01s I've got at the moment. Been very impressed with those. I used them for the Western Isles tour, and I did a couple of thousand miles. I thought they'd be starting to show signs of wear. Wondered whether I was going to have to change them prior to my trip up to the Arctic Circle. But I'm pleased to report, number one, they feel great, and number two, they're showing absolutely no signs of wear. There's no flat spotting, nothing. And this includes me riding up to Scotland on the motorways and back. I thought it would knacker those tyres. Excuse my French. But it hasn't. So I think I'm going to get the Nordic Tour out of those as well. So at the moment, the Road Tech 01s from Metzler are my favourite tyres for the GS. Not sure what I'm going to replace them with. There are those new, what are the Michelin ones that have come out? Is it the Michelin something 5s, isn't it? Which I fancied trying, but at the time when I spoke to Michelin, they didn't make the sizes for the GS, but maybe they'll be the next ones. Okay, can you suggest some good base layers for year-round riding? Good question, Colin. More on that soon after the Nordic trip. I've just got myself some Oxford base layers because I thought actually the trick for that trip would be, because I'm not quite sure temperature-wise, but it's going to be really hot to start with and then get cold. I'm going to need lots of base layers. So I'm going to be trying out the Oxford base layers on that trip. Give you a full report when I get back. Road 5s, that was it. Thank you very much. It was the Michelin Road 5s. Maybe I'll give those a try next. All right, I better wrap this one up then, because we've gone on for over an hour. I'm absolutely thrilled that you've stuck around for this long. Just one last thing. Don't forget, you may have seen at the end of my videos, through July I've got a little promo running with another of my sponsors, Speedo Angels. If you use the code Missenden, you'll get 20% off orders with those guys. If you've not come across them before, I've done videos on them, like I said before, about the custom fit guards. I don't do promos and things unless they're products I personally use and rate. So with the Speedo Angel stuff, I've got these on my GS and I've got it on my Panigale. It's basically like a on your phone you have those little screen protectors. This is the same thing but for TFT screens, or indeed any screens on a bike, just to save it getting scratched or chipped or marked, because those things are expensive if you get them damaged. And if you go to Speedo Angels, speedo-angels.com, you can see which bikes they make these for. They're very cheap. They're only about a tenner anyway. It's almost a no-brainer to get them fitted to your bike. Anyway, through July, it's 20% off all orders and a free fitting kit if you use the code Missenden. So do check those out. So that's pretty much it, I think. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. I'm amazed we've still got over 500 people watching this after an hour. Just brilliant. Next next live stream I'm planning to do on Wednesday, August the 15th at 8 p.m. UK time. I may change it. If I do change it, then I'll put notices on Facebook and Twitter, and maybe a little video on YouTube like I did this time, because of the football getting in the way. I'm thrilled that seems to work, because we've had a good number of viewers. It's been absolutely brilliant talking to you all. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So that's it for now. I look forward to speaking to you next time. Do stay tuned to say the last of the Western Isles videos going up tomorrow, and then some more stuff happening next week, and then I'm off on this tour. So yeah, do follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and you'll see how I'm getting on that. All right, thanks once again. Leave any more questions below this video if you're watching this on the recorded version, and then I can pick those up on the next live stream. All right, that's it for now. Until next time, this has been the Missenden Fly. Cheerio.